As you get older, you start to become a little bit more concrete, right? A little bit stiffer and a bit more solid. That's the whole purpose of trying to do things in your workout that maintain a level of elasticity. Jumping into anything that's going to help with the elasticity is probably not going to be great when you're cold. So first and foremost, before we do anything, a nice comprehensive warm-up is kind of key. Getting older is something that happens to all of us, right? It is unavoidable. And for me personally, I refuse to think that that means that I have to throw the towel in completely with everything. But at the same time, resisting it aggressively might also not necessarily be the best strategy. Even trying to go through the foam rolling a little bit slower instead of trying to weirdly gamify and compete against myself and rush it. It's just a good way of making sure that you actually get the benefit from it. It's not just a tick in the box exercise to foam roll your quads or your IT band and then it's done. What you're chasing is actually the beneficial result of doing that and going a little bit slower, especially on days when I'm feeling a little bit more stiff. That extra 60 or 90 or 120 seconds spent on doing stuff like this is probably going to help A, athleticism generally, and B, stop things from going ping in a not so good way when you're doing the jumps and stuff in a minute.
That's exactly what I used to do, and worse than most. I do believe that as we get older, as long as we continue to train intelligently, we can keep getting better. This is especially the case in maximal strength and endurance domains. 1 rep maxes in the big lifts and super long exposures in running and cycling and stuff. Probably the reason that as people get older, they kind of age up into hybrid training. There is one element of performance, however, where this is not the case. I talk about this a lot, but we're going to do a bit more of a deep dive today, and that is athleticism.
And when I've done all my mobility stuff, tissues are feeling a little bit looser, a little bit less made of concrete, and a little more made of rubber and magic the way they used to. Now I actually need to start priming the tissues and get them moving in the right way. And before we add any resistance to this, I personally just take a load of stuff that I used to do as like my warm-up drills for sprint sessions, different high knee variations, different kind of quick steps, anything where, especially in the lower body, I'm just getting it moving a little bit faster and a bit more innovated. I just plonk them at the beginning. Basically the transition is between the warm-up, or it's kind of the third stage of the warm-up really, between the warm-up and the main part of the session. And that's what I'm going to do now.
There are a few different reasons why I do these drills, guys, and one is to cue my body and tissues to be reactive, minimizing the contact time with the ground, and also to get the hip flexors firing properly. A snappy but controlled pull of the knee up to hip height will be crucial for some of the stuff that we've got coming up.
Right, we are done. We are warmed up, we are primed, we are loose as we can be. Athleticism 101 as a washed up meathead. So the first thing we're going to start with is speedy, snappy, innovative primers that are basically fairly low impact to start with. So we'll do jumps and stuff in a second, but for upper body primarily and full body, what we're going to do is we're going to do some slams and throws. I'm going to go through this in a little bit more detail today, but usually these are things that I do, again, as a transition between the warm-up and kind of the main compound. So I do all of this, do all of the warm-up stuff, the 3 stages, and then into this. And it's a fantastic way of basically having maximal speed in movements. Slams and throws should be absolute maximal output, maximal expression, but without too much eccentric load or impact. A couple of different variations. Let's get cracking.
There are no two ways about it. Slams are a full body movement, maximum expression, maximal output. And it's difficult because it's very hard to measure, but I can really feel it when I'm firing properly. When I'm firing properly on all cylinders and doing all I can to put a bloody hole in the floor. It's very easy to cheat with this, but as with anything, you're just cheating yourself.
So first one's done fairly linear, in a very straight one-dimensional plane. Another variation of this, if you want a little bit more rotational control, rotational power, rotational stability, alternating from side to side. Really, really good variation.
In addition to slams, I'm a big fan of throws, but the wall here, even when protected with a pad and a plyo box.
Yeah, I can't do that because that's going to break the wall.
So none of these were done today. This felt equal parts embarrassing and frustrating. Jumps were always my thing, especially double-footed takeoffs. I used to cruise to a standing box jump of about 56 inches and enjoy the heads that would turn in the gym. I'm not gonna lie, we've all got an ego, there's nothing wrong with it. And in all honesty, I just took this kind of work off the boil for too long. I'm not expecting to get back to what I used to do, especially with maximal velocity stuff like the top end running speed. But there's no reason I can't dust the cobwebs off a little and do some decent jumps. The first variation I'll do is a box jump. It's great for having both maximal expression, but also because we're not trying to land straight leg, we are trying to kind of bring our knees up nice and high. So really, really quick concentric, followed by really quick eccentric. I started fairly slowly because of the aforementioned rust on the wheels and built up slowly from there. And then slowly doing it from a standing start. And this felt good, actually, I have to be honest. I was kind of happy with how this felt in the moment.
Right, that's me done on those.
And then into a slightly more complex variation. I wanted to jump over something. So as you can see here, I put some dumbbells on the J-hooks and then the white plastic pipe on top of the dumbbells.
Oh, no. I reckon I got it.
I found just getting on the bench, rocking once and then saying just go without thinking worked pretty well. 5 to 6 reps of this and then a few where from the landing, I immediately went into a broad jump. So maximum vertical expression, bringing the knees up and then redirecting that downward force from the landing into a horizontal jump. This is obviously a bit more advanced, and again, I'm not telling anybody that they should do this. This isn't a prescription. This is just an oversight as to how 37-year-old, weary, battered me is trying to reclaim some athleticism back in my tissues. And to be honest, this was really fun, and surely that has to be a big part of it. It's fun, it's playful, it's creative, and in all honesty, for me, the dopamine hit that I get from doing explosive stuff like this is unlike anything else. Being explosive is absolutely key in being a competent all-round athlete, and I'm going to absolutely die on this hill. I will also die on this hill. It is the most chronically undertrained component of fitness for pretty much everyone as soon as they stop playing football or rugby or basketball or whatever when they're 21. I don't know how many people I'm going to convince about this, and I don't really care. I'm not trying to. I'm doing this for me. I want to stay athletic. I want to still be able to sprint, still be able to jump, still be able to be reactive and feel fairly bouncy and supple and capable in that domain, both for the next few years and definitely into my 40s and beyond. I'm just looking at it now through a slightly different lens. I'm not attempting to beat, vertical jump or broad jump PBs or 100-meter sprint PBs or anything like that. To just keep the tissues moderately elastic, keep yourself functional and keep yourself safe. This isn't taking over my program. I'm not doing this 14 times a day, nothing crazy. I'm just doing enough so that I can keep training, keep exploring and stay ready.